A Theology of Fly Fishing. Seems odd for the Friday after Thanksgiving. After all, it's Black Friday. People are going crazy shopping, going out to get special deals, running each other over on the pavement, in the aisles of the stores with blinking lights and a maze of colors and sales of perishable things. Things that really probably don't have much meaning beyond a few days. So I propose to you a theology of fly fishing. Now, I don't know that you need to be a fisherman to do this. Fly fishing is what many presidents have done to escape the madding crowd. People travel throughout the world to find the perfect trout stream, a chalk stream, a spring creek, some sort of a river that runs through it. A river where the trout sparkle, the trout jump, the trout look for a new hatch. The wily trout, very difficult to catch. It requires concentration, silence, art, athleticism. The theology of trout fishing is the thought that God is in it. God created the beauty of the rivers. I wrote recently in an essay called The Rivers of God, outlining dozens of rivers where I've fished, waded, swam, and looked at the beauty of God's creation in stream valleys, river valleys, gorgeous canyons throughout our North America and even Europe. Rivers of beauty. Rivers where I like to go to escape. I write in this essay about a creek that was featured in A River Runs Through It, the Blackfoot, near Missoula, in the Rockies of Montana. A stream that's a wild stream, one that rushes through the rocks and boulders and through the sage and past the antelope and rattlesnake. It's under the cobalt blue big sky of God's creation that we find this stream full of native cutthroat, rainbow, and brown trout. It's there we go to look, to hike up through the forest marred by forest fires started by lightning and other natural things that are being rejuvenated. This river that rejuvenates the land and causes the wildflowers to explode along its sides in yellows and reds and pinks and whites. It is a beautiful river, the Blackfoot, where Native Americans got their water each day to cook and drink. The sound of bubbling water. It's the sound of God, His creation. In the many pools, under the rocks, around the curves, under the banks, the wily trout wait for unsuspecting insects who fall into the creek and are snapped up, popped up, sucked down by hungry trout. It is here that we lightly cast, and the line settles, the fly pattern just touching the water. An explosion as the trout sees it and thinks it's lunch. The fight is on. The barbless hook is easily thrown out by the trout, but if the line is kept taut and the rod pressed down when the trout jumps and the line kept taut and brought in, there's a good chance you can land the trout, or at least get it close enough to see the brightly silvered sides with spots, red and orange and yellow and blue and green of the brown trout, but the silvery sides of a beautiful cutthroat. The rainbows with their radiance, the red that you can't duplicate with any crayon or paint. It's a beautiful, iridescent reflection of God's beautiful paintbrush of creation. I sit on the rocks and watch my son cast artfully to far ponds, pools over 100 feet away, over the brush. Almost no sound, except the brook. God is in it. God is in all things. We give thanks in all things this Thanksgiving, because God is in all things. Rejoice always. Give thanks in all things. Pray continuously. 1 Thessalonians 4:18 tells us. God wants us to totally give ourselves over to Him. God wants us to find a place, a quiet place, as Jesus so often did, to pray, to get away from people, to get away from the craziness of life, especially as the holidays seem to sap away our energy. Find a place, find a creek, find a river, find the flow. Go. God is in it. It's theology of fly fishing. It's the place to go, you know.